Okay, so you're out and you kind of like to have a beer, but you can't go to the city to get your beer. So what do? You make your own, right? So the first thing you got to do is you got to make sure everything is sterilized. So I use the good old bleach. Just household bleach. Yeah, about that much. Probably quarter cup is plenty. You don't have to go anymore. You do your utensils too, right, as you're doing it. And then top that up and get this bucket right up to the top. Get everything covered in that bleach solution. So I'm just going to pause here while I fill that up. Okay, so it's full to the top. Bleach is your most readily available and your cheapest sanitizer. When you can smell that strong bleach in there, you know you've got enough. And that should sit in there for about 20 minutes to a half an hour. I have a floating thermometer here that I will put in just to sterilize it right now, sanitize it. So everything, basically that's all you need is the spoon, your bucket, and your thermometer to get going. So today I'm going to do an India Pale Ale. That's a Canadian India Pale Ale. I think it was about $15 Canadian. No, it's probably about $18 Canadian. It's probably about $12 US. I got some water in the kettle here boiling. I'll open this up. If you've never made beer before, it's pretty thick stuff. This malt, I like the India Pale Ale. Also, the Pilsners are good too. There's a lot of different varieties, so you might want to stock up on some of this. So, see now just how thick this is. I try to pour it out. About the consistency of caramel, I guess. Now, I'm going to make this with corn sugar. This takes 6 cups of corn sugar. But sometimes I do a Kreuzen brew, which is, I'll do a double malt. So I don't put any sugar in, just the natural sugar in the malt. And then I will sterilize a 6-pack, depending on the size of the bottles you're using. I would sterilize a 6-pack and bottle those before you pitch the yeast. You cap them, put them in the fridge. Those are your primers. That's your primer when you go to bottle. So you don't use sugar when you bottle. Now, the other thing, if you're going that route, you're going to need another container because there's one more step. You're going to have to rack your wort because you're going to have sediment in the bottom of your bucket, and you're going to have to rack it into another bucket because you're going to have to pour that unfermented wort into your bucket and stir that in, and you don't want to stir up the yeast, so you're going to have to rack it. So that is another step, right? But it's worth it. That's the Bavarian purity laws. You got three ingredients: malt, water, and yeast. But if you're out at your secondary location, you're probably going to want to use sugar, because you're not going to want to use up all your malt. So that's why I'm going today with just the sugar, basically for economical reasons. This runs me around 35 cents for 2 glasses of beer. You won't get any cheaper than that. And there that is. You got to get that hot water in there, and that's I'll show it this way. There, it cleans that out pretty good, eh? It's that little bit. You don't want to waste any. I'll stir that up. Get that all dissolved into that hot water. Then I'm going to have to empty this bucket, give it a really good rinse. This is all done with cold water too. So, like I say, if you're out in your secondary location, there's really no energy used except to boil a kettle of water, and that's it. So, I'm going to take a break now, and I'm going to let this set, and I'll come back, and we'll get into making a batch of good old India Pale Ale. Okay, so everything has been rinsed. I'm good to go. My malt has been dissolved pretty good. Get my spoon now. I dropped it in there. Okay, so now take six cups of sugar. I'm using corn sugar. That's what's recommended. If you had to, I'm sure you could use granulated. A regular old cane sugar or beet sugar or whatever you had at hand, eh? There's one. There's 2. Three. 4. 5. And 6. Now, if you want to boost the alcohol content up, you can always throw in another cup. But this here will get you pretty much in the range of about 5% volume. So, if you want a little lighter beer, put in 5 cups. That'll get you down to about 4.5. Less calories. So now that's all nicely dissolved. It's just a matter of bringing this up to volume, which will be up to this middle ring. This is a brew bucket. It's all graduated. Now, it's even got a marking down here of 5 liters. So I'm going to bring a little more boiling water and bring it up to that level. And that'll get me pretty much the bang on temperature when I fill this up with cold for brewing, to get the yeast to brew. Okay, I've got the volume of water in. The wort is up to this middle ring. So there was 5 liters of boiling water. For American friends and viewers, that would be 1 gallon. And then I top it up with 18 liters to bring it up to this level. And for American viewers, that would be 4 gallons. So 1 gallon of boiling water, 4 gallons of cold water. Or 5 liters to 18 to bring you up to 23 liters. So you got 5 gallons of wort. Now it's just a matter of pitching the yeast. This all comes with your kit. So you're good to go. Pour that in there. I recommend you give it a little stir. Not sure why, but anyways, I don't always stir it. But with this, she's good looking wort. See, already nice head on it already. It hasn't even started to ferment. That's it. Finished. The lid goes on. There's the lid. Forgot the thermometer. Thermometer's in there. A rubber bung in the top. A little water in the airlock. Put that in there. It feels a little cool. Maybe I shouldn't have thrown the yeast in yet, but it'll warm up and the action will start. I have this old walker here that I use for transporting the beer around to get it back into the room where I want it to ferment. Saves carrying it, sloshing it around. Anything with wheels on it's a big help. I'll be right back in a second. So now, everything's done. Cleanup is done. There's a bottle of Canadian lager. These are the bottles I use. They're plastic with a twist-on cap. Some life there. Now with home brew, I like it a lot better than the bottled beer because it's got some body to it. But it's bottle fermented, so there's a little bit of sediment in the bottom. Once you get used to pouring, it's no problem. But you'll have to pour it either into a glass or into a pitcher. I use the pitcher because these are more than a regular size beer can. I guess they'd be like a tall boy maybe. I leave a little bit in the bottom. You can't really see it, but there's about a ½ inch of beer left in there. The key is to rinse your bottle too, right after you pour, or very soon right after, to clean that sediment out so it doesn't harden up. So now, there's a Canadian beer, folks. Lots of life, nice and clear. This has been 3 weeks in the bottle only. So, you're not going to get a much happier beer than that. I'll give it a try. Oh man, that's good. Nice and cold. As soon as my mini pizza is done, I'm ready for lunch. So, thank you for watching. If you like this video, please like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. I'm going to do another video after this. Takes 7 to 10 days. So after the 7 to 10 days, then I'm going to set up and I'm going to show you my bottling process. I have a different method too for brewing a half batch or a 2.5 gallon double malt. So that's an interesting little setup too. So these methods, there's a lot of different little tweaks and things you can do. What I might do too is get into getting my own grain and going right from the grain, make my own malt and browning the malt in the oven and then grinding it and making my own malt. So we'll see how that goes. So anyways, bye for now.